Welcome, everyone. This is it. This is the finale of The Last of Us. We're going to cover it. Spoilers, of course, because we're talking about this episode and the entire season. So get your comments ready. We want to know what you thought of this episode titled Look for the Light, what you thought of the entire season, what we can expect, what we're comparing with the game and the show, the performances, the special effects, the clickers or lack thereof, whatever your thoughts are on this show. We want to hear from you. I am here, Zach, and this is Knock as well. Knock, hope you're doing all right, and I've been loving doing these with you.
It's been a great time, man. I can't believe 9 weeks, 9 episodes. The finale came, and there's so much to talk about. If you guys have played the game, if you're just jumping in for the show, if you're jumping into our community and we've been reviewing and discussing this every week, we really thank you so much, man. We really enjoy the turnout for these episodes. Something a little different we do on our channel. We haven't really done stuff like this. We look to continue it, but all the same, thank you guys for supporting.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And we'll get some more stuff viewer related towards the end of the episode. So we're happy to have you here. Happy to have you check this out. If you're not watching this live, please leave comments. We do comment back. We love your comments, whether they're live or whether they're a year from now. It doesn't matter. We love talking to you.
We definitely do, man. So jump in the chats. Let us hit the like button if you can. And we're going to touch on this a little more later in the week, but we'll do a little split here. Thank you guys for getting us to 1K, man. We finally hit it this morning. That was such a great day to wake up to.
That was great. Oh, thank you all for subscribing. If you haven't yet, join the community. We love video games, pop culture, and of course, wrestling. So, all right, Knock, you ready to get into Look for the Light?
Definitely, man. Let's get into it.
All right. Again, someone on the show with just a little bit of screen time and stealing the whole episode.
Yeah, they've done these little openings to the show so great, and this is another one. I think this might be my favorite one because I've been waiting all season since I seen in the trailer when Ashley Johnson was going to be on the show.
Yeah. I'm glad that they did tease it just to a degree, and you didn't really know what it was. But I do love this beginning. It was very, it hit me for certain reasons, but this was a great start to the episode, and it sets up certain beats as the episode goes on.
It does, and like for if you're coming to this fresh, this is obviously new for you guys. But Ashley Johnson was the original Ellie. She did the mocap and voice for Ellie in the video games Part 1 and Part 2. So great to see them using their. I love that they're using so many of their video game actors in the show in different ways.
Oh, they're doing it perfectly. We'll get to another one in the episode. If you missed it, we got you. But every single one of them is delivering top-notch acting. We know it takes a lot to do voice acting, but to emote so much on screen with every single video game character from the game onto this TV show has been great.
Yeah, and to open the scene with Ashley Johnson and Marlene, this is something we did not get in the games. We never seen Ellie's mom. We all speculated on who she could be. We speculated on why Marlene was attached to her, and now we see why. And I'm so thankful. So you see, Anna, which is Ellie's mom, is in trouble here, about to give birth, and also fighting off a. I'm about to say Walker, fighting off a runner. I don't know. That's just. I don't know how you do that. First of all, shout out to Anna. You see why Ellie's a badass, first of all.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a picture. It happened right before this, right before she gave birth. So she was bit. She did kill the runner, which I don't know exactly how the runner knew which room she was in, but can they smell?
I don't know if they can smell, but she definitely wasn't quiet. So I think maybe it tracked
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
sound and stuff like that.
That's right. I guess giving birth is loud. I guess I should.
There was a lot to unpack here, man. She was in distress this entire time, found this house. Let me know if you guys played the game. This house that she was in, it's very, very similar. There's no connection, but it's very, very similar to a house they did in The Last of Us Part 2 in one of the scenes, which I thought was really cool. But we never see Anna in the games. We finally find out who Ellie, her mom is. We find out the connection between Ellie, her mom, and Marlene. They were best friends, just like Ellie had her best friend Riley. Marlene and Anna were best friends, knew each other their entire lives.
Yeah, this is a skip cut, but I'm just this is Marlene holding her. They used real children in this. They used real babies in this, and Ashley Johnson, during the after the episode thing, explain how difficult it is, but how wonderful it is to act with real babies. So
Yeah.
another nice touch, and we'll get into more realism as this episode rolls on.
Yeah, they've been hitting it at the park with the realism. Ashley Johnson is a former, I think she was a child star. She was one of the soap operas back in the day, and she did
Okay.
a few other stuff like that. But um, very underrated actress, very underrated.
Yeah, and if you look at it too, she knows she knows the story, but brings so much more to this like added content to the story. So it's just she's so invested. She has played Ellie for so long, and just absolutely loved doing it. Her seeing the baby was like her seeing her character that she loves so much. It was a really cool juxtaposition.
It really was, man, and it's just I don't think you ever get to see something like this where the person you grew with, whether it was like you read the books or you see played a video game or you see them in the cartoons, to go and play the actual character or be in the a big position in the show when it comes to live action. They didn't really
Mhm.
do it with Uncharted.
No.
They kind of did it with Kevin Conroy and Batman when he was on the show. I was glad I did that little nod for him. But this one, I think this is my favorite one of seeing someone I loved in the video game come into live action and play something similar to the character. She literally kind of, in a way, gave birth to Ellie twice.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Allpower, how are you doing? Let us know what you thought of the episode, and let us know what you thought of stuff as we go along, run through the episode. But glad you finally watched it. We loved it, and this scene too is like she's ready to off herself when she gets found by
Yeah.
Marlene, and Marlene is like apologetic again because he said they're friends their entire life. It's just it's a tough scene because they are friends, and
Yeah.
she takes the weight off Marlene too because it's not her fault.
And it's not. I mean, Marlene was, very sad and apologetic because she, I think they're supposed to meet up. They were a little late getting out of the town.
Yeah.
I think they're supposed to head to Boston right now. Um, and I'm glad they did it this way because we haven't seen Marlene since the first episode. So I'm glad they actually saved this for this scene to get reintroduced to Marlene, because in the first episode, she was the boss. She was
Yeah.
stern. She was in control of things, even though things weren't going proper. But she also felt the weight of the year. She'd been saying like, we're fighting a losing battle, but we're still pushing forward, like stuff like that, verbiage like that. And then you see like from the beginning, this is like where the struggle was. She watched her. She had to kill her best friend.
Yeah.
So great way to reintroduce Marlene. The other thing too, the big thing of this scene, which was never discussed in the games, has always been speculation. They finally confirmed how and why Ellie is immune.
It makes sense. It's almost like a vaccine. So she has it in her
Yeah,
system, which makes her immune to it, but it wasn't like a direct bite. And then Ellie actually thinks that it's because of she doesn't know. Obviously, she doesn't know this. So they keep
yeah,
showing the bite on her arm. So it's nice for the viewers to see this.
it is. So to go into it, Anna, while giving birth, gets bit by the runner. I'm pretty sure that, again, this is how I saw it. I'm pretty sure the umbilical cord was still attached. So now whatever's going into Anna is now in Ellie, and then now it builds antibodies, and now she
Yeah.
can't get infected, which is insane. That's such an insane way to do it. Um, uh, it's crazy, and I think it also confirms too. At least the way I read it is, I don't think there's going to be anyone else that's immune, because there's no other possible way unless this happens again to somebody, which is rare.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, Marlene did show up late. I guess the only thing other than LA traffic that can really slow you down for time is zombies in the apocalypse.
Yeah, who would have thought?
But yeah, but that was enough time for Ashley Johnson's character to cut the umbilical cord. Clearly not in time, but she tells Marlene it's in time. So
Yeah,
I think Marlene doesn't buy it, but she lets her
that's the
think
thing.
she's buying it.
I felt the same way. I don't think Marlene's smart enough for that, and I think Anna felt she had to do that. It was a good scene because Marlene's playing no games. It's your best friend, but I think if this is anyone else, she probably would have off the baby.
Yep. Just touching stuff. Yeah, Marlene knew the task that was ahead of her. She really didn't want to do it, but it's this will come into play when we get to Joel and her later on. So it just
It
really makes
does.
get more emotion as we build up Joel's side of this going forward with the episode.
Yeah, and they planted so many seeds here. And I think for me playing the game, you felt that connection very heavily in the beginning with Marlene and Ellie. That she was like a mother figure to her. Everyone was speculating about that, and you see why now with this scene. The last thing I think I wanted to touch on here, which I did see, was Anna was singing to Ellie, and the song she was singing from one of her favorite bands.
What song was it?
Um, I just seen it. Who sang the band when she was in the elevator? Not the elevator, escalator with Riley in episode 7. That band. She was singing one of their songs.
Oh, was it Aha? Take on Me?
Yeah, I think it was that band. She was singing another one of their songs, I believe.
Oh, okay, nice
So
touch.
it was like a little connection between, even though she had a split amount of, or small amount of time with her mom, a little connection they had together.
Yeah, like the same band. That's a good catch. All right, we're moving on. They're in Salt Lake City, I do believe, right?
Yeah, yeah, Salt Lake
Okay.
City.
Here's a game comparison.
That is just gorgeous.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that's the remake they did, which was even better graphics. But I will say the set design and like building this world, as far as like aesthetically and how it looks, I thought they did a great job. The only thing with me, I thought I just wanted a little more infected. I think they know that too, because when we
yeah,
get to the end of the episode, we'll talk about some of the stuff they have planned for season 2. But they know that we need more infected.
yeah. They know. But this was nice. Joel still understands like the weight that Ellie has on her. It's like what happened last episode, but again, everything else. She's not allowed to be a kid. We saw the Riley episode where they were
Hmm.
kids, but then ended tragically. But like, just bad thing after bad thing. But Joel is really breaking and seeing her as a daughter.
He is, and this is what I was waiting for, because in the game you really feel like the switch between the characters. Ellie is just broken, and now Joel's the one who's trying to engage more and try to get her, get her on, and she's just completely checked out in this first bit of I've never seen someone excited to find the Chef Boyardee, some old ass Boyardee cans, trying to pass it off. This dude's full blown smiling too.
Yeah. Well, just nice touches, and again, the acting between these two is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. Even with Ellie being checked out this episode for those scenes, you felt the emptiness of it, and you felt like Joel trying to keep pulling and trying to get her back.
Yeah. It goes more as they explore. He's he keeps trying, and then what comes next? He's worried because she runs off because once they go up the ladder, she's excited about something, and Joel is just terrified because it's like my new daughter. I don't want to lose another daughter. So it's just
Yeah,
glimpses of that in here.
yeah. He can't, and we'll get to it later. There's a scene they touch on later, but he can't afford to lose somebody else like this close to him.
Right.
Um, this scene right here, straight up, when you get to hear, and he needs to do the little boost her up. That's straight from the game. Everything about that, I thought it was just hilarious. Like we got a boost segment. So just nice touches. They're really playing for the gamers here with some of these scenes.
Yeah, I do like it. Black Alec, welcome. Thought it was brutal. Um, Jason Bourne, he needs to take notes as we get on the episode. Not enough Gambit. Maybe next season, Gambit and Rogue can have a romance, mon ami.
Oh man, I'm not a big fan of Gambit. Check out our
Uh,
X Men.
but you love Channing Tatum. All right. So they used real giraffes in this. This scene was so necessary to build Ellie back up and get to the scene that we'll talk about after this that bonds these two together. But again, real babies, real giraffes, and the one of the people who runs the show said you can make anything with video effects, but it's just not the same.
I'm glad they did, and honestly, I couldn't really tell if it was a real giraffe or not at first. I think because the background they did like on the CGI and stuff. So, but
Yeah.
that's really cool. That was the actual giraffe.
Yeah, you can see all the blue and the taping on there for the CGI, but the reactions were real. Bella Ramsey said it was I forgot the exact words, but it was like almost magical seeing these drafts in real life and working with them. So it brought realism to how she was portraying the scene because it wasn't done with someone with like green a green prosthetic giraffe head.
Yeah. And I think that's something you only get when you properly involve the people that made the video game. You have them telling you stuff, because for us playing the game, the way people react to the strawberry scene in episode 3 with Bill and Frank, and how innocent that was, how great of a scene that was, that's how people reacted to this draft scene in the game. You were broken down throughout this like 30-hour campaign, and to get something like this where they could, and especially after Ellie went through the stuff with David, and
Yeah.
to see her smile again, because you really felt the emptiness of Ellie just not being present. Like it really affected you playing and watching the show as well. So when you finally get this draft scene, it hits so well. I know some people that cried watching this scene.
I can imagine it. Again, it was Using the drafts and having Bella Ramsey just be like in awe of something
Yeah.
and overcoming on the character. I loved it. And this is the game comparison here. Again, maybe you can let us know if it's more of the remake or not.
Trying to look at Ellie. Yeah, that is a remake. I'm trying to look at how they did Ellie face. They changed it up, but yeah, that looks like the remake to me.
Okay. Good stuff though. And then here's a little Easter egg here. The game developer's tribute to his wife makes it in there. It is her name and her last name is Field. So it sounds like a baseball field with her name on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's really cool that they get to do that, man.
Yeah, Bethany something Field. So
He
that
won
was
a lot
cool.
of points with that one.
Yeah. So that's cool. They put it into the show as well. That was nice.
What else is going on here?
Some
So yeah,
more game
this part
comparisons.
here, I thought like, um, there was a huge action set piece that came after this giraffe scene. You go under the ground and you're fighting some bloaters. Um, and in the game here, or in the show, you get hit with a smoke bomb and it takes you out with the fireflies on patrol. But in the game, it was different. Like Joel was about to drown and stuff, and Ellie tried to save him.
Jeez.
And Ellie can't swim, so that's a huge situation.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was
Yeah, yeah.
huge, crazy stuff that happened, and then so finally they make it to shore, and Ellie's like can't breathe because she has the water in her, and Joel's trying to save her, trying to pump the water out, and that's when the fireflies and patrol come in, knock him out, and then take her. So now he's on that
That's
panic
right.
mode. So I thought like I would have really loved to see something like that to add on to the show.
Okay. Do you think that was better than what we got? Because what we got was a little more heartfelt. And since you're
See,
not
that's
actually
the thing.
playing the characters, they choose to make you feel the characters rather than being in control.
That's the thing where like again, I don't know where the budget was because that was a pretty big scene. That probably would have cost a lot to really do that properly.
Yeah.
Um, so if they're really just trying to make up for that and like hit us with the acting, I get it. I can't fault them for that. It would just been really cool to see something like that because even at the end, my girlfriend was watching. She's like, "Well, that's it. That it felt like it just started. It was just a 40-minute finale."
Right. Yeah, I guess
But
especially if you play the game, it's you
yeah,
feel like a little couple missing steps.
to your point though, and with the action or not the action, the acting. This whole speech and whole thing story Joel told Ellie was not in the game. This is something he just they made for the show that he went off of a line he said in the beginning of the season. He said something like what, oh, he got the scar on his head because the guy missed, he hesitated and missed.
Yep.
And then if you want to lead into it, Joel told Ellie that was him.
Yeah, totally thought that was a throwaway line. It sounded legit based on what we know of Joel.
Hmm.
He's even trying to have her read some puns, and have some fun and just cheer her up because she is in a better mood after the giraffes. She sees that, there's still positivity out there. But yeah, they get to it here and she says, "So time heals all wounds, I guess." And then Joel tells her it wasn't time that did it. And she
Yeah.
realizes that he does care for her almost as much or maybe the same as his daughter right now. So
Yeah, so I'm glad you put this side by side because I was watching this getting like I was like, damn, Pedro is in his acting bag. He was acting his ass off. His eyes, everything about him. Damn, bro, he was telling a whole story with his face. That this is acting like masterclass right here.
yeah. And to Bella Ramsey's credit here too, acting is also very good when you don't react. So
Yeah,
she's processing and she had slight facial movements
she did.
and she's just like taking it in and appreciating it right after she saw the giraffes, which kind of gave her new life.
Yeah, and this is something I was saying in the previous reviews that like after the David stuff, after the Henry and Sam, Ellie is going to be broken. She's been going through this entire life with this survivor's guilt after Riley. Then
Yep.
then she said this episode too. Then it was Tess. Then it was Henry and Sam. She almost lost Joel, so she's just not the same, right? So Joel fighting to get her back and bring her back and make everything okay. I thought that was what he needed to do. And I'm glad he did that. And then we get to the scene right here. Like, I'll follow you anywhere you want to go. That's another. And on the flip side, this is where Joel reacts to hearing that, and I feel like that was just that put him at peace. I felt like.
Yep. Especially with the joking around too, to a sheep ranch, to the moon,
Yeah.
just it's really touching.
Because now, for the first time, I think when you watch a lot of these these survival shows and like Apocalypse, whatever.
Mhm.
There's you can't really think about the future. You can't really make plans because you don't know if you can have a today or tomorrow.
Right.
Especially so then when you start making plans together, I think this is right here solidified. He's gonna do whatever it takes to make sure she's good.
Definitely, and we see that, and we'll get the reactions to the decisions as we go along here. But this gets cut short. But again, this will have a huge impact on the final scene of the episode too, which I like that they thought about making an episode like a chapter of a book. It just reads like a chapter of the book, and things relate to other scenes rather than just getting to point A to point B to wherever.
Yeah. Was there anything else in this scene right here before we get to them getting attacked by the fireflies?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Because I just really love the interactions here. Like again, am I being greedy for wanting a little bit more action too with like the whole set piece that they had in the game? Because this was really good too. Don't get me wrong, it was great.
Yeah, it was. We'll talk about it at the end, but I think they're going to address all that, and I think by taking some of the action out, we get stuff like this, which is great.
Yeah.
Joel fucked up bad. That's Mr. All Powers. We'll get to those.
We got to get to that. We got to get to it. Stick
And it's
with
prime
us.
time. Thanks for joining, everyone. Let's get to the point where they get captured.
Okay. So yeah, they get captured a little different, but the whole setup is the same. Marlene is the first person to meet Joel because she's in shock that well, not in shock, but she's like, the way they meet each other, they respect each other. They understand they're both survivors, but they don't like each other. I don't think there's
Mhm.
any sense where they would like each other. Marlene to Joel was the leader of the Fireflies. He doesn't like the Fireflies. He thinks it's a joke. He thinks they're terrorists, and she's also the one who brought Tommy in to the Fireflies, which he
Yep.
also that's his little brother. I don't know why Marlene doesn't particularly like him, but I think she just sees him as someone who is just a bad person who is what's the word? Him and Tess were they're not
Like
scavengers, but
vigilantes?
yeah, pretty much like yeah. So she doesn't see him with respect at all because he has no purpose, just self-serving. I think that's what Marlene sees in
Yeah.
him. So now fast forward to this. Marlene tells Joel, "It took 5 guys protecting me and our entire group to make it across the country, and I barely survived. How in the world did you do it with her? How'd you make it here?"
It's just very telling, but it's this weird respect, and this plays in at the end too when she comes back at the end of the episode. She has more
Yeah.
fear in her eyes than she did in this scene.
Yeah, and we know Marlene knows Joel is capable, but he's never again to him in the beginning when she last saw him. This was just a mission. He didn't even like the girl. He didn't even want to do it.
She's
So now,
cargo.
yeah, cargo. So now we fast forward, and he actually has an attachment, and I think Marlene's she's very perceptive. She picks up quick on, oh, this is not the same guy. He has an attachment here. So now let me like try to adjust him in here. Me drip feed him some of the information because he's gonna freak
Mhm.
out. And then at the point where she felt she couldn't control him there, get him out of here.
Yeah, she admits again. It plays into the beginning of the episode, and nice job on them bringing her back for this episode and how they did. Because for some reason in my head I thought she died, but this is really good. But yeah, these poor schmucks and everyone else in this building.
Yeah. So let us know in the chat what you guys thought about this. We're gonna get to the whole Joel effed up part. There's a lot of meat right here because again, Marlene is the one who pretty much was the closest thing Ellie had to a mother because she lost her mother so early, even though it was the most unconventional way to have a mother, and
Yeah.
she's willing to sacrifice her for a possible cure. They didn't even know if this cure is like a surefire thing.
That's the thing. That's what we'll get into the debate in a little bit here as we just run through the action scene. This played out like a video game again, like episode 2 for me. Just it's like watching someone play. This is the same thing. Guns out. Let me grab the guy I just killed's gun. Guns out. Let me grab this other gun. I'll grab this clip. And he's moving through the hospital.
This is the Joel everyone got respect for and feared. In this world, we see like he commands so much respect. We finally seen him snap, and this is what I was hinting at in a few other reviews as well. To this point, he just feels like he's failed. He lost his daughter, and he had nothing. There's nothing he could do about it, but he has that guilt. He wanted to kill himself the next day.
Yeah.
He was telling Tommy he thinks he's getting old. He doesn't think he can finish his job. He wanted Tommy to take over. There's a scene where he was before they met Henry and Sam where Ellie had to save him. He almost died again later on. So all these failures led up to this. So you're telling this dude, Marlene, there's nothing you can do. We're taking away your daughter pretty much again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. After that, it doesn't matter. She could have said, "You're going to be, the king of the world after this. We're gonna have everything's gonna go away. The apocalypse is over." That it didn't matter what she said after that, because the loss he felt, he could not go through that again, no matter what.
Well, yeah, it's the loss. Because like her dying, it's reliving the daughter. But then at the other side of it too is he's been without and knows how shitty life is.
Yeah.
So he'd lose someone and go back to that. So why not just kill everyone else and keep the one thing that makes you happy?
Yeah, so this is a very complex thing. Again, we're gonna get to after this action scene. I loved how they did it. That when they played, listen, am I wrong? But I had a smile on my face when they were doing this scene. Like he was going through it like a video game, like you said. They had the perfect music. We didn't need too much noise. It was just silent. They were cutting, and I think I'll say it now here. There is a massive Easter egg. I don't know. In these scenes, a lot of these scenes are a little dark, so you couldn't really see.
Mhm.
But as he's making his way up the hospital, you see a dark figure with a braid running away. He did not kill
Mm.
this person; they ran away. If you played the game, this is something you have no idea. Or if you've played part one, this is something you have no idea. This character, you have no idea who it is. In part two, they go back to this. I'll be brief on that. I won't take my spoilers. Part two, they go back to this whole hospital thing from a different person's perspective, and that's who the girl, or that's who the person they think was running away.
Okay, I think we may be touching on that in a little bit here.
Okay.
I just want to say I love how this was done. It's very hard to do big action scenes in TV shows, but every so often, um, action changes. So you have basic stuff in the 80s with like Stallone and Schwarzenegger and all those people, and then stuff hits, let's just go like Matrix or Crouching Tiger, and then the Bourne movies hit and action's done differently after that. Apparently John Wick 4 is going to be like that next version too, coming
I'm
out.
very
So
excited.
yeah, it's the action in there is supposed to be next level and like game changing. So this to me was game changing action on a TV scale. It was the camera moving through, and it was nice basic stuff, but it was brutal. The shots were brutal. How they went down. One person took one to the leg, and it was great stunt work. They
Yeah.
basically swiped. We talk about wrestling all the time. They swiped both their feet out from under them at the same time and hit. It was so well done. I love this action scene.
I love it too, and this is the best action scene of the entire season. This everyone who's been saying it. I've been saying it too. We want more action, more action. They gave it to us here, and
Yeah.
this was really well done. And a lot of things they said, which I think I still think it was just covering up for lack of budget. But a lot of things they said were, we're not going to show a lot of violence, but when we do, it's going to make it that much more impactful.
That's how I feel about swearing. Whenever I write something, I don't write swear words in there. Like I wrote a play and I didn't write swear words in there. And I said it was fine if anyone swears during there, because if you don't remember a line, sometimes instead of saying you say fuck or whatever.
Yeah,
But when you do swear, it has that much more impact on there.
yeah.
So how they did that with the action, I actually love it. And Nog, maybe you'll know, was this a one shot?
Uh, no, I think they were cutting. I think they were cutting back and forth with a few things. I'm pretty sure they were
Okay.
cutting around.
It was very Daredevil esque.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what you might be referring to. But I'm pretty sure there was a few cuts that you could see there.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Paul, get your next one after the next slide. Primetime just bought it on PC for part one. Can't wait to play. Primetime, stay tuned at the end. I have a slide that'll break everything down spec wise for the PC version.
Nice. I'll give them credit. They've been marketing the fuck out of The Last of Us. They just remade it in September in anticipation for this show coming out, and that was just well played. Well played, Sony, Naughty Dog, and PlayStation.
Yeah, very well done. All right, he finds her. She's hooked up. He knows the deal. They are going to take out the part that is in the brain that makes other clickers and runners and all the other infected think
Yeah.
she's infected too, so they don't fuck with her.
So that's the part we didn't touch on really. I'll say it real quick. So the cordyceps, the immune, it grows in the brain. So if they have to get the cure and extract it from her, they have to cut it out from her brain and essentially killing her. So that's the whole big thing that set Joel off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you really felt it, because when you got to the part in the game to get to her, you went through the entire hospital. There was no mercy. You might have caught like 50, 60 bodies going up that hospital, just running out of ammo. And it felt brutal. And what I was worried about, I don't know if you feel about this. When I was worried about only 9 episodes, I was worried this part wouldn't be impactful to have him snap. But
Yes.
I think they got it right, man.
I think they did too. We'll just cover quick and then we'll get into the crux of what you think is right and wrong. We're going to get to another special cameo here with one of these nurses, but he sees her there helpless and, all doped up. This doctor has convinced Marlene, who has lived with Ellie, who has raised her, who has brought her up, knows what Joel feels, has convinced her this is the only way. This death, it may not work. We don't know the statistics on percentage wise. This may not work, but it will kill her because, like you said, got to take it out of the brain. Also, this doctor, this smart doctor, this genius says, "No, I will not let you hurt her. You man with a gun pointed right at me, finger on the trigger already. Let me casually go over here. Well, let's scalpel. There you are. Now I'm going to come at you." So much time went by. Joel probably thought of 50 different ways to season Chef Boyardee canned foods. Pow, dead.
Yeah. So again, at some point, I get you're the doctor, man. You're trying to be the savior of the world, and all your work is led up to this. You're waiting for your big moment, but
Yeah.
you got to read the room here, man. He just ran through the entire hospital, and you're trying to talk to a guy he has tunnel vision right now. He's seeing red. It's like when you try to talk to the Hulk when he's hulking out,
Right.
there's no
So
reason.
fucking this silly ass doctor. Again, it shows Joel just wanted to get here, get her, and get out. The other two nurses were not pointing a gun at him at all, so he let them live. Just said, "Done playing." This is the scene from the video game. I believe this has got to be remastered.
Let me see here. Yeah, that's definitely the remastered one. So when you play the game and you get to this part, the doctor's there. You kill him for sure. He dies in the game, but the other two nurses, is actually up to the player.
Oh,
If
that's
you
right.
just grab Ellie and walk out, you're good. But some people, the way they play it, you feel like you have to kill them both. So in some people's playthroughs, you kill both nurses or you don't. So
Okay.
it was a little less brutal for this show, which I'm glad. And there's so many memes and mods now where Joel comes in with a flamethrower, I see, or some other high powered weapon to just do some crazy stuff. Like it's really kind of crazy.
That's fun though. I like that.
Yeah, and I think for me watching this, I think Joel looked like more of a villain and more of a bad guy, more brutal than the game actually.
Okay.
That's saying something.
This right here, one of the nurses. Is this what you're talking about with the ponytail?
Yeah. So again, if you haven't played part two, I'm not gonna go too in depth because this is massive spoilers. But that's Laura Bailey. She's pretty much the voice of any girl in a video game you can think of. She's the voice of. She's like that person. She's Tara Strong for video games. But she
Nice.
also played Laura. She played Laura Bailey. She played Anna, not Anna, Abby. Sorry, Abby in part two of the video game, who's a main character. Um, and what I hinted at earlier with the ponytail might have been running away in the whole fight scene with Joel going up the hospital, which I think they will
Nice.
revisit that in season two. I can see them doing that whole thing.
100%. If they're going to cast her as a nurse in the exact same action sequence, then
Yeah.
they must. And Primetime, I did not. After the show, I'm going to get into it, though, I'm sure.
Primetime, if you played part two, I'm still debating how we do this. I think if Zach does beat Last of Us 2, if you guys want to see it, we can definitely do a spoiler cast or something to hype up for season 2 whenever it comes out. But let me know how many of you guys did play part 2, because there's a lot I definitely would love to discuss about that.
Nice. All right, let's get into it. Did you think Joel made the right decision? Mr. Allpart does not cure the world, and he throws it all away.
This is tough, man, because when I played the game, all right, when I played part 1, I thought, yeah, for sure, Joel made the right decision. You can't ask someone to go this entire way, risk their life for someone, build a bond with them, and then say, fuck it, kill him. There's no way you can ask that. So I said, Joel is not the bad guy, even though he lied to her in the end too. Straight up, bold-faced lied. I still thought he was the good guy. Then when I played part two, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's the bad guy. And then when
Okay.
I'm watching the show, he's definitely the bad guy. This is the villain origin story. This dude is selfish, and I get it. I get it because we watched his story, and I feel for him. But bro, you just threw away the only possible way of a cure, and then you lied to her. And you see in the end, Ellie knows he's lying, but she's trying to accept it because, like, how can the person that you view as a father that you love, that you care for, just lie to you? And all Ellie wanted to do was just make it all make sense, make it worth it, do something worthwhile, and he robbed her of that, man. And she had no choice.
Yeah, she wanted
The floor is
to
yours.
have a
The floor
purpose.
is yours, Zach.
I just want. Yeah, you're right. He did rob her because she just wanted to serve a purpose, and that's what kind of kept her going. Um, but again, we don't know the percentage, and the person who came up with this is the genius who reached for a scalpel while a rifle was pointed at him.
Yeah, I don't know what this man was thinking.
This he convinced Marlene, which is big in my eyes, but then like he does that on the show, and I'm just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
kind of with Joel on this.
That's
The
one
prime
thing I don't think we still know about. I don't think we know how the connection with Marlene and the doctor. I know they're both part of the Fireflies, but I don't know how where his research came in and how Marlene and then became like she became that trusting of him.
right. Yeah, because I don't know. You're only probably working on infected, so you don't know, and she's the only one who has the cure. So it's tough to have an aha moment as a doctor and trying to like fix things in this world.
Yeah. Um. Oh, man, and I know I might sound a little because I said what's her name the leader from episode 5 at Henry and Sam. She killed a doctor, and I was ready
Mhm.
to read her the riot act. I was like, you don't kill a doctor in the apocalypse, and and Joel did the same thing.
But again, how smart is he really? We don't know.
Yeah.
But again, it's a good debate. So let us know in the comments, especially if you're not watching live. Primetime points out that it is his daughter, and Black Alec is Team Joel. I'm with you, Black Alec. Fuck the world.
Literally, that's what they did. That's what they
the,
did, man. Um,
the world did him dirty ever since his daughter died, so he doesn't care.
yeah, yeah. This is it's a huge debate. This is probably the most debated game, both part one and two, I think I've ever seen in my entire life of playing games.
Yeah. All right. Let us know in the comments afterwards if you want. If you're not watching this live, we'd love to hear your thoughts on if he made the right call or not. He has to run through the hospital now with cargo slash a daughter.
Yeah. See that part too. I thought they kind of could have did a little more with that. Like I think in the game you get to see him run around a little more with Ellie and him like trying to shoot his way out. There's still a few more people. I feel like this could have did a little more, a little more. Um, it also got me to thought when you watch Game of Thrones, Jon Snow does not know the lineage of his parents and all that stuff, right? And there's just this giant secret looming over the entire show. And now what they kind of played into here with Ellie and her mother Anna, there's a giant secret on how you could be immune. Like it's a rare, it's a crazy way, but if people knew how, I feel like they could do something with that instead of having to kill her.
I just want to point out what Black Alex says right here. We don't know the percentage. It probably wouldn't work. I'm with you 100%.
Joel's still a villain, and I like Joel. Don't get me wrong, but he's the bad guy. Out of
Yeah.
out of 20 years of him surviving in the apocalypse, he was with Ellie for what? A year, maybe a few months. He's the bad guy. 19 of those other years, he was the bad guy.
I can't. Pedro has such a sweet face. I can't.
Yeah.
Who is down in the garage with that car that is charging up right now? Marlene finds her and him. She's still not having it, but she knows she's probably going to die. She does a good job changing her emotions from when she was talking to Joel earlier.
Yeah, she changed it up. She knows how to play into people get what she wants, and she's trying her best here because again, she's afraid. She's this is her entire plan just crumbling in front of her face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then now she's and again, she's not the best relationship with Ellie as the mother figure, but that's still someone Joel's about to run away with.
Right.
Um,
It's just kind of it was just nice not having her on for so many episodes, bringing her back in the beginning in a really great scene, and then this is how she kind of goes out. Joel, you know, pulls out another gun and shoots her.
yeah. See that part, man. If you're on Team Joel, he's the villain.
At this point, I was almost sway, but again, it's still like we don't know the percentages of how it's going to work, and uh, give some people band-aids, or I don't know. Like, all right,
Um,
technically, he kind of is the villain after that, but
I get why he did it too, because I mean, we've finally crossed over into survival mode Joel. So everything is a threat to him. If he didn't kill her, Marlene would have came after him. He would have been looking behind his back the entire time. So I think he killed pretty much everyone in this hospital.
yeah,
So now no one can come after him. So that's what
minus one person with a ponytail.
yeah.
All right. I when this story started, the internet was around, right?
Yeah, 2013. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I just want to let you know, Black Alec looked it up, and you just can't cure it. So
I see that now. We don't know that, man.
Google does. Carnage Rage, you will see a season 2 probably in 2025, but we'll see. So we'll talk about that at the end of the episode as well.
Yeah. He makes his way out with the same thing as the. I think this one was a little more brutal for me than the game again because uh they actually, if you guys noticed throughout this entire season, when they did violence or someone getting shot, they cut away. You didn't actually see it. This time you see Joel straight up blast Marlene,
Right.
and this was rough. This is the second time. This is Marlene. Her actor is the only actor to play both the same character in the game and and in the show, and she had to go out crazy, done dirty twice.
Yep. And it's great too. She auditioned for it and got it. So I mean, it just shows how much she wanted to do it. And then now that she got it, there's if you watch the after the episode stuff, she starts crying, describing the episode and her
And
performance and everything. So
and
it,
I
it shows
get
what
it,
she wanted.
man. I get it. Like she's been this character for now. I mean, like on screen for 10 years now. I'm sure they filmed The Last of Us before 2013, so maybe 12 years going on.
Hmm.
Like, and it's just huge.
Yeah, and then especially going to conventions and stuff as that
Yeah,
character and signing. So
you get that attachment.
yeah. But here's what she talked about. She straight up asks, "Swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true."
So this is another one where I thought I, it's tough because when we got to this part in the game, you had done so much and you've been through all this journey that this felt like a bonus. This felt like they just added something else, so it was cool. In the show, I will say it felt kind of like even my girlfriend, she's like, "This is it? That's how it's ending." So I like the cliffhanger ending. I like that it's abrupt like this, and it ends off of an acting thing where she's asking him a deep question after all the shit he did. But I just think it just felt a little more abrupt in the show than in the game. Because in the game, it just felt like extra stuff. Um, and in this part, she reveals this is the first time I think she tells anybody that she had to kill Riley. Um, and she confirms that like the first person she killed was her friend, and that she thought she was gonna go crazy together, and it turned out just Riley went crazy, and she was fine.
Joel ponders for a quick second, and yeah, just a straight up lies. So it's
Yeah,
would you have lied if you were Joel?
that's tough, man. That's a hard um, and it's for me because we I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Ellie knows. Like I can almost guarantee Ellie knows that he's lying. She's just trying to figure out a way to like live with it or like just try to trust him or force herself to believe him. But I'm pretty convinced Joel thinks that she doesn't know. I think Joel doesn't know that she knows. So he's out here lying to her and telling her this entire story, trying to sugarcoat it. I mean, I guess you do it as a parent. You can try to tell. I mean, this is not nowhere near a white lie, but if she found out that he did all this, I don't think they would have the same relationship.
Without giving spoilers for The Last of Us 2, does this complicate their relationship going forward?
Um, I don't think it's a spoiler because again they have a complicated relationship to begin with. It's very complex, so 100% this complicates a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode right there. It's like a soft, quiet cliffhanger. I
It
like the
is.
ending.
It is. I really hope HBO sees these numbers and they go ahead and fast track the season two. Like 2025 seems accurate. I'm hoping for early 2024 if possible. They did say they might start filming at the end of this year, so they can get
Right.
a few
Yeah.
episodes out.
Yeah, you know the deal. You've been on set, all the things that you got to do, especially when you're scouting locations, especially real locations that you have to use, and businesses need to shut down for the filming duration. So there are a lot of moving parts to it, but it has been greenlit, so we will see it.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for it, and of course these numbers keep going up. 8.2 million viewers night of. It doubled what the premiere was, I do believe. But even on a night with the Oscars going, and all in all, it surpassed viewership numbers of House of the Dragon.
yeah. And I think too. Like I know we're all people say they're kind of zombied out in The Walking Dead for years. This is just such a different take on it that like it's fresh and it's fresh for HBO as well.
And I think the best part about it is more about the people involved. So now when you get into season two, you can add more stuff, more action, and it won't feel generic or rehashed again. Sorry to shit on Walking Dead again, but it just got tiring getting through seasons.
Yeah. And then they did confirm. If we're getting to it now, they confirmed a few things about season two already.
Yeah, so more action, more of the infected is a
Yeah.
definite go. And it will encompass season two will be part of episode, excuse me, The Last of Us 2. So The Last of Us 2 video game will encompass at least two seasons, if not three, maybe four, but I'm guessing three.
Yeah. I think I don't want them to leave too many cliffhangers. I think a solid 2 seasons. If you do, if you bump up the episodes, go give us 12 episodes of seasons. You can knock it out in 2 seasons. I think it's just after that that's when it gets a little muddy because that's it. That's all he has is 2 games. I think for sure they're gonna get a part three because I mean this is too successful not to do one. But they might have to start like freestyling for a season four of The Last of Us if that doesn't come out before the game.
Yeah, they might have to. I think they'll be smarter than Game of Thrones how they did it.
I think so too.
Actually, we'll get back to this really quick because here are the specs for the PC if they're coming out the 28th. These are them. Let me get us off the screen here and you can look at it. So, prime time if you want to double check. These are what the specs are for the game on PC.
Man, Last of Us on PC. We have a guy on this podcast as well with us, Eric, the Infinity Champion. We got to get him to play Last of Us and jump in his world because he's Team Green, Team Xbox, but he's missing out, and he hasn't
Yeah,
been
now,
seen.
yeah, now that it's on PC, hopefully he gets to play it because that green paperweight ain't cutting it. But we will be able to do this. Fans will hear more about the Last of Us multiplayer game this year.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a long time. Last of Us One had the single player and multiplayer together. The multiplayer was amazing. A lot of people didn't really get to it as much as I think should have because the multiplayer was really really good and they had a lot of different elements in there. Um, Imagine so Zach, you play another Naughty Dog title, Uncharted. Imagine every single game you play in Uncharted. You're the way so you get killed, you get assists, you do the objectives that all translates to a point system where you have rations for a community that you build. So it's like a little online community, like your what do you call it? Your civilization. So say you have like 40 people in there, you just went on a 20 kill streak in Uncharted. Now you have a good amount of rations to feed them, cure infections, and then that little community has to watch out for raiders. So it's a really cool little mini game they added to make the games you play more impactful.
Damn, that's super complex. I didn't even get to play the multiplayer on the first one, but I'm actually still playing the multiplayer on Uncharted.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really cool stuff there. If you're a fan of third person shooters, this is great. So now that they came out with part two of the game, part two factions is going to be even more like full depth, full attention, and they put years into this. So I'm very excited for this.
Nice.
There will definitely be multiplayer gameplay on the channel when it comes out.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Naughty Dog did say that they have discussed The Last of Us Part 3. They won't say anything other than it's exciting. So I'm guessing that's a green light.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I want to say part two came out in 2020. I want to say maybe around 2021. Neil Druckmann confirmed he had a script for season or for part three already. It's
Okay.
just Naughty Dog was in the middle of remaking The Last of Us Part One. They
Mhm.
have a completely new IP, new game coming out that is supposed to be their next in their series. Now part three is being discussed. So there's so many different elements and direction Naughty Dog's being pulled in. So we'll see when this comes out, but it has to be. I mean, it's too successful not to be come out.
I mean, if the remake and the original two are just still being bought tenfold over from what it originally was being
Yeah,
bought at, I think it's a go.
yeah. Sony is going to demand that for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
So before we get into ratings, what was your favorite episode of the season? And let us know in the chat what your favorite episode of the season was.
I'm gonna say it might be a. It's close between episode five, the Henry and Sam episode. I really love that one. That was one of my favorite parts in the game as well. One of the most emotional ones.
Hmm.
And then we have the big action piece with the infected at the end. Either that one or episode 8, the Ellie and David, because I thought that was Ellie or Bella Ramsey really came into her own as Ellie and really showed like her acting range. She was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Long, long time, endure and survive. And when we are in need were three that I thought were super impactful and showed just tremendous acting. I'm gonna say episode two, Infected, for the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 5 when we did that episode.
Yeah,
It was watching people play the video game almost. It was the best adaptation of a video game I've seen on screen. So you can guess where my vote goes once we start doing a tier list based on movies and TV adaptations of video games.
that tier list is coming soon, so keep an eye out on the channel for that. Um, just really exciting stuff for the channel. Really exciting stuff for The Last of Us going forward. And they also did confirm that a lot of people were talking about like Bella Ramsey, if will she get recasted as Ellie or will she continue? They confirmed they're keeping Bella for season two.
Good.
Yeah,
I mean, there's gonna be enough time spent from when they filmed this to when the next one's released.
and that's the thing too. Like Ellie in the first game was 14. Second game she's around 19. Bella Ramsey's already 19. So by the time they film it, she'd probably be like 20, 21. So I think she's fine.
Yeah, and the other thing they said too, they are not deviating from the story of part two, no matter what the hate was and the backlash was. They're still going to go forward with it.
That's one thing I desperately want to be able to discuss with you guys because again, that is the most diversive, polarizing game I've ever seen for a lot of reasons. I'm glad they're sticking to their guns because you build it's not. I don't think people hate it in a bad way. It's just there's so much that goes on. You might not like the decision, but the story and what happens is actually just really good storytelling.
All right, I will jump on this at some point, well before the season two comes out. So you hyped it up for me.
Yeah, yeah. I will say it's more brutal than the first game. Like
Shit.
there's a lot that really, really hits you.
Okay. Let's rate the episode.
I'm gonna go a solid. I'm gonna go a solid 4 out of 5 for this one. The best action scene by far in the series, so in the season. Great stuff from Pedro and Ellie again, or Pedro and Bella chemistry. The only thing I would have wanted it's a season finale. I think it has to be an hour going forward. You can't have the season finale be your shortest episode. That's my only thing.
Yeah. I'll go a 4.2 out of 5. I really like the stuff with Pedro and Ellie before they got blasted, before they got captured. So Pedro and Bella really delivered on that, and it just led to the end of the episode, the very last scene as well. So I gotta give them a lot of credit for that, acting wise. But
Yeah.
again, it was a short finale. It just needed something more, just to yeah, just to make it feel more like a finale.
Yeah, besides that, man, hopefully the wait for season 2 isn't too long. Right now, I have the Mandalorian kind of holding me down. Still waiting for House of Dragons. Let us know in the chat what you guys are watching and what you got looking forward to.
Yeah, let us know if there's any shows that you think we should cover. I have typos on there. I'm sure I do. I typed this up about 10 minutes before we went on air. But yeah, let us know any other shows that we watch out there, that you watch out there that we could cover. We're thinking Secret Invasion, or if there's anything else, let us know.
For sure, man. But Damn, this is the conclusion to our season of The Last of Us reviews. If you guys enjoyed the reviews, hit the like button. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. Share it out with the people. Just check out our videos, man. Zach, thanks for doing this with me, man. I had a blast.
I had a blast too. I don't know about you, but I'm giving this season in total a 5 out of 5. This was the best video game adaptation thing I've ever seen. I loved it. It did differ a little bit, but I absolutely loved this series. I'm sad to see it go until another year and a half or two.
I am too, man. But that being said, keep an eye out for the channel. Podcast every Sunday. Zach does Rampage streams Friday. We got Champions videos coming out every week, and there's a special tier list coming soon. So check back in with your boys. Thank you all for watching. Peace out, y'all.